Hey, so today let's talk about harmony and parts. It's so amazing because harmony and parts, you find it in all forms of music. All forms of music. And when you hear, a nicely done part, it takes you to another place, like a form of heaven, it takes you to another place. So harmonies are really beautiful. And when I learned how to do harmony, it transformed something about me, changed the way I look at music, and my creativity just, went to another level. So today I'm going to show you some stuff on harmony. We're going to do it from a beginner's point of view. Okay, so now the first and most important thing in harmony when you want to look for parts is look for the melody. It's very, very important. Now I recorded this short example, okay, to use. Now this is the melody. Listen. I'm sure you know the song.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Okay, so we're gonna do basic harmony. Okay, so how do we find our parts? First of all, you need to know that parts work in intervals. The most important of all the parts, we have tenor, we have soprano, we have alto. The most important of all of them is the one that sings the melody. So it's not always the soprano that sings the melody. In a song, you can find the tenor voices singing the melody. Okay, so there's a difference between voice and parts. Now, tenor voices is usually for males. Some females, they have deep voices, so they could be qualified as maybe tenor voices as well. Just a few, it's rare. But then tenor works, the voice type. If you want to know more about voice type, go back to one of my videos. I talked about voice types, and you know more about voice types. So I'm not gonna spend so much time talking on voice types in this video. But then, like I was saying before, the melody can be taken by any voice. It depends on the song. And I'll come to that. I'll explain that much more as we proceed. So in this song, the melody was taken by someone who didn't sing quite high, like a mid-range, like the alto kind of range. Let's say the original song was sang by someone who sings really high, like hallelujah, 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 and so on. Okay, let's say the original song was this key, but then maybe someone wants to sing it, another person, okay? And then they say, oh, the key's too high for me. Why don't you drop the key? And when they drop it, you then have this key. Now, what does that do to the other parts? Maybe in the original song, the soprano voices took the melody. That means it's gonna drop their parts if they should sing the same part as the original singers did. So if the new person, if the person singing it right now has a low range, it's gonna affect the parts. So what will happen is you rearrange the parts. Okay, you understand more as I go on. Okay, so now this is our melody. Okay, the voice is not too high, not too low. Okay, so it's hallelujah. In looking for parts, I told you, number one, find your melody, and that's the melody. All the other parts are conditioned by the movement of the melody. So it's not the parts, it's not the tenor or alto condition. You're telling the soprano or the melody where to go. It's now the melody going where it should go and the other parts, correspond. Okay, so hallelujah, that's the key. Step 2, after finding your melody, step 2, pick a reference note. You can pick the first note, usually the first note. Ha, ha, all right? Now you run a scale that helps you find the parts. Now remember again, if you've watched one of my videos where I talked about solfa notation, tonic solfa notation, we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. See, I'm gonna be using my iPad. I have this piano. So this song is on C. So we have in C, we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This started in hallelujah, hallelujah. So that's so, so, do, do. But hey, our reference note is just one we need, okay? So ha, so. So while it is so for the melody, it's another note that begins it for another part. Okay, so you need to now understand part arrangement. Okay, so let's consider this pattern. If the soprano is at the topmost, just below the soprano is the alto, and just below the alto is the tenor. Okay, that's the arrangement. Never changes, never changes. Now, I want you to do something. Repeat this pattern again. This 3 pair. Repeat another pair and then another pair. So you have soprano, alto, tenor, and another soprano, alto, tenor, and another soprano, alto, tenor. So it's like different floors in the building. We have first floor, second floor, third floor. So 3. All right. Now, this is what's going to happen for that person who sang it originally, who sang, really high. All right. The soprano voices may then take the melody. But when someone else comes to sing the same song but not so high, it's going to affect the key, it's going to affect the parts if they sing the same parts. So you have to rearrange the parts so that those that can reach really high, the soprano voices, can now go to the next part above. So if you look at the pattern where we repeated soprano, alto, tenor, soprano, alto, tenor, soprano, alto, tenor. Okay. Now, let's say the sopranos that took the melody in the original song now stepped up. Where did they step up to? Look at the pattern. They stepped up to the tenor, a high tenor. Okay? So now they're doing the tenor, and just below the soprano voices, the next voice is contralto, or what you informally know as alto voices. They will now take the melody. Look at the pattern. You see it there. So we need 3 parts, remember? So now we have the highest part now, which is now tenor, taken by the soprano voices. And then we have the alto voices, contralto voices, now taking the melody. Okay, and then the final one, the tenor voices, are now going to take the alto part. Okay, now in the case of this song, that's exactly what happened. Listen.
Hallelujah.
So this is the melody, and then the soprano voices are going to take the next part above that, which is the tenor part. Hallelujah, 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 and so on. Okay, so that's what you got here. And that leaves a last part, which is the tenor voices. So they're going to do the alto. So the alto sounds like this. Remember, melody.
Hallelujah.
And now here's the alto.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Now, how did I find my parts? Let's go back to the steps, okay? Remember, first step, find your melody. Second step, pick a reference note. Third step, run the scale. There's a scale, okay? And I won't spend so much time on this video because it's gonna take us the whole day to, do the exercises. That's why I have this, okay? You can get it from iTunes or any other downloadable store, any e-store. You can download materials like this or audios like this. It's everywhere. Okay, so you have step-by-step guide on how to learn to do parts. And even if you can do it, there's something for you there. Take it to the next level, okay? So there's a scale. So if this is the first note, and that's the melody. We run it down, okay? So soprano melody, tenor voices, who are now taking the alto, will be hallelujah, hallelujah. And then because we sandwich the melody in the middle now, so you remember the soprano voices are taking the tenor part. So their part will be hallelujah. So the three parts, the hallelujahs, okay, the part will be for soprano, for the melody, for the alto, These are the starting points for the three of them. So then you combine the three parts and then you have the whole thing. Okay, we have the melody, okay? Hallelujah. Okay, so let's try the soprano. The soprano voices are now taking the tenor. So tenor. Hallelujah. Let's go. 1, 2, go. Hallelujah. 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 Did you get that? Sometimes was trying to rush, okay, because of time. All right, so let's try it with the melody. You ready? Let's go. Hallelujah. 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 Now, if you notice, I'm not trying to teach you the melody. The melody is the song, the body of the song, okay? So what about the alto? Now, just rushing so we can finish. So if the, remind yourself of the melody again. Halle. All right, so ha. Remember again, the scales are in that product I showed you, okay? You will master the scales. And when you master them, you can pick out the part anytime, any day. Even if you're just waking up from sleep. Okay, so that's what the tenor voices are taking now. They are taking it alto. Hallelujah. 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 Hey, but you may say that sounded different from the melody. Yes, alto does that sometimes. Okay, most times tenor could move. Remember, we're treating basic harmony. Most times tenor moves just like the melody, but sometimes the alto it moves according to the movement of the melody, but then sometimes it deviates to create a new kind of melody. Okay, now let's try that together. Remember the melody again is Halle. Then now the alto is Hallelujah. You ready? So let's go. Hallelujah. 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 I'm gonna stop right here. I hope you learned something from this. See, we'll try to do some other songs later, okay? Repeat this video over and over again until you really grab what I'm saying. Just to summarize, there's a difference between voice type and parts. Okay, so the soprano voices in this song to the tenor part, because according to the arrangement, if you have tenor at the top, just below the tenor is the melody. Okay, so the melody is going to be taken by those who sing mid-range, which is the alto voices or the contralto voices. Okay, so they take the melody. Then in this song as well, the lowest part is now the alto part left. Okay, so the tenor voices are going to take the alto part. Why? Because that's their range, the range where they are comfortable. Okay, so if you have any question, just type it in the comment section, or you want me to make any video, or any video you have a question in mind, you want me to make a video about it, just type it in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe and like, and also share. Okay, I'm gonna talk more about this maybe in subsequent videos. Have a great time. Bye.